Okay, real quick recap here. You'll remember my original Mark III that I posted up, that I put the big handlebars on and the seat to make me comfortable when I ride. And you'll remember the mint Mark III I got not too long ago. Almost flawless. Even has the nubs on the tires. And that should be enough, right? Well, I don't know what's going on with these Mark IIIs, but I'm just trying to find a crappy one. I'm trying to find a parts bike that I can, because I kind of want to do this new thing. Hang on a second, look what I got. All right. Not a parts bike at all. It's another almost flawless Mark III. I don't know where these things keep coming from. I'm not looking for a good condition bike. But $100. All right, here's my plan. Restomod. What can I take from this bike to put on the Mark II? What can I do to update this bike and make it rideable without the ridiculous expense that restoration of a Mark II entails? I've given up on the eBay thing. Yeah, I can get every part I want on eBay, but I'll go broke doing it. This whole bike just costs $100, and I'm going to see what fits on that bike. And I'll be careful. I'll put this back together again as parts come available, but I want to see, I'm curious to know what will fit from this bike on that bike. So let's get these two in the shop and have at her. So here's the new one I just picked up, and again, Facebook Marketplace. And the thing is about technology is once you've searched for something and once you've bought something, it knows. You're now a known entity by Facebook, and every time there's a similar product available for sale, it pops it up right off the bat. So here we are. If we do take a close look, there will be a bunch of paint chips and things. This one was ridden, because you can see the nubbies on the tire are now worn off, front and back. I didn't realize these were actual like emblems. I thought they were just stickers, but yeah, when you feel them, they're probably just glued on. That looks like a rivet, but I don't think it is. But yeah, it says Raleigh American. I didn't realize there was a different badge for the American Raleighs. So yeah, Raleigh American on both. And probably the third one or two that I already put away again. So I would like to keep this one absolutely stock, just so that when the time comes to put this one back together, I'll know exactly how it goes. But for now, we're ripping this one apart and seeing what fits on that. Now, of course, a person would never do this if they had the parts to restore their Mark II. But, you know, maybe on camera this thing looks decent and rideable, but it's just not. So I want to Restomod the thing. Has anybody ever Resto-Modded a chopper? Has anybody ever, kept the basic platform but upgraded the wheels and, well, different things, pedals maybe? I'll see what I can upgrade and see what fits, and I think that's just going to be a cool thing to do. And then of course, whenever I get parts, I can put it back to original and everybody will be happy. But right now, a lot of people will be unhappy. I am afraid I'm probably going to have to cut this Sissy bar. But I noticed on the Mark III, I did a little bit of measurement on the tubing diameter, and I think there's a good chance this Sissy bar, the tubes will fit right down over top of this one. So if I just cut it off up here, I can slide the other sissy bar down over top. I guess we'll find out how that works out. I'll do some other or extra measurements before I go wrecking everything. I don't want to destroy. I'm going to try to get this original sissy bar out, but you know, 30 years sitting out in the rain probably isn't going to cooperate. Alright, let's get at her. I'm going to take my time. Of course, I'm going to record everything so I know what came apart and I can put it back together again. This is just kind of an experiment. It's a rainy day out, so there we go. Brakes. Forgot about the brakes. Okay. I see there is a fender bolt missing on the rear fender. So. Alright, so the Mark IIIs have a little plastic cap over the linkage for the 3-speed hub. Let's pull that off. I think there's just little tabs that grab it. Okay, so the little cap did have two little tangs, the two little teeth that just hold it in place in there. You know, once one was off, the other one didn't have much to hang on to, so I just pulled it off. Looking at this, I don't think this was ever adjusted right. This little thumb wheel here is the lock nut that was supposed to be up against the adjusting knurled barrel, I'll call it, but it was seated all the way back to there, which yeah, isn't a good thing, because then this thing could have spun on its own, although it's spinning the cable. No, that's spinning on its own now. I think, yeah, it's spinning on its own off. Might as well just keep turning it and take that off, since I'm not going to be using this cable anyway. That one's going to go. Alright. Oh. That also threads in there. I thought it was just slipped in there, but it threads in, so hopefully I don't have to remove this whole cable. I think that is turning out without the cable turning, so that's a good thing. Honestly, there it goes. It's out. Alright. Alright, what else? Okay. So I want to pay attention. Yeah, I just want to film how this is coming apart. So this guy went on there, over top of this guy, which is now just sliding off. It's the pulley that the shifter chain rides on. That's a much, I mean, it needs lube, it's dry, but it's a much better idea. Alright, so somebody was thinking they put a pulley on there to help this slide a little more gracefully so that it's not just binding up on the edge of metal like the old ones. But it looks like I could pull this off now. Alright, chain off. Oh, the brakes. I always forget about the brakes. Oh. No, they both got to come off. I got to take them both off. It's a fat tire. Okay. Well, what's going to happen here? This little washer here that has the tab on it that fits in the slot of the, oh, I forget the technical term. I don't know, can you see this bit in here, the slot? The slot on the new one is bigger than the old one. So I don't really want to grind it. I just want to leave as many parts original as I can. So I'll probably just use the bits from the original wheel and leave this with the chopper. Okay, so this is the one off the original, the Mark II. Right? That's how I can call them, Mark III and Mark II. That's easy enough. I'll put this one back on. But it's nice to know that threads are the same size on the Mark II and Mark III, so that's interchangeable so far. What do we got going on this side? Uh-oh. Is it possible these sprockets are different? I might have to swap the sprockets. So my choice is swapping sprockets or swapping chains. And I think the easiest thing to do will be to change the sprockets. Just like that. Keep your finger on it so it doesn't go flying off when it snaps off. Now the sprocket will come off. Oh. It's kind of weird. That little fake brake disc, well, I can't show you now, but there's a little clip that holds it on in there, and one of the clips was off. So it was sitting on a big angle. I'm thinking possibly right from the factory like that. Nice to see these are the same. So here's the difference in size. So the original Mark II, I mean, it's significantly smaller. Alright, so yeah, that's probably why the Mark III is so much faster, possibly. Now I noticed this one had, when I took it off, the dished shape of the sprocket forced the teeth outwards, and on the Mark II it was inwards. So, but I'm going to put it outwards just so it's the same. But if the front sprocket, the pedals, misaligned, I might have to take this back off and turn it over. Okay, this is just a clown show at this point. I just don't even know how to put this ring back on. Oh, it's on. Well, that wasn't so hard. You know, if you want to see somebody do these things really slick and clean and professional, go to another channel. If you want to see someone fumble around and hurt themselves, well, just stay tuned, because that's going to happen here, big time. And there goes the Mark II wheel. Alright. Nice aluminum Mark III rim. Slam this little tiny sprocket on it. Remember, I really don't care about high performance. I just want to cruise. There we go. Alright, we're swell. Wait a minute, I'm missing some stuff. I'll set that down for a minute, just hold on with the chain. Okay, I'm using the hardware from the Mark II, the old Mark II, on the new Mark III rim and hub. So everything just fits the slots better. The slots in the Mark II are smaller than the Mark III. It's kind of funny because I look at these tapes afterwards, kind of when I'm uploading them and stuff, and I think, oh, yeah, I got that wrong. I'm going to have to do that again. Alright, back to the reason I'm out here. This monstrosity. Oh, chain goes on now, that's a good thing. Oh! I want to swap fenders, so hang on a second. This has to come back off. This fender, I think we can swap fenders. Let's see how hard that would be. I want to get it off anyway because it's still, I fixed it up. Its shape was off, and I bent it back into shape a little bit, but not perfectly. So let's see what I can do. Yeah.
10mm, but it's pretty rusty in there, so this might be a problem. Looks like it's one threaded rod right through the whole thing. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, washers, yep. Don't know where that guy came from, but if I look on this side, maybe, yeah, there's a washer between the clip and the seat. What? There's no nut? That's okay, I want to leave it on at the front anyway. Give it a little bit of, you know, loosen off this neck. And with any luck, which I won't have any, it'll spin out of that tube, but not likely. I don't want to bend the tabs on that seat. Okay, let's see. Oh my God. Just like that, it turned. Oh, well, that was not fair at all. Let's just pull that right on out of there. How about that, eh? Wow, that's a good thing. Because now all of a sudden it's at a height I can ride it at. Woo! And I don't have to cannibalize the Mark III for its seat post. Well, what kind of chances are going to be that the Sissy bar will come off the same way? Let's just try it and see. Woohoo! Mark II seat. Look at that, 300 bucks sitting in my hand on a $100 bike. I noticed the little luggage rack on the back is missing on this Mark II. And remember, I was suspicious that these brakes aren't original, so I think maybe somebody had this all off, working on it. Remember how the hub was all buggered up, packed with grease? So I think I think it probably just got left off. You know, Buddy said, it's not like I'm going to be hauling loads of lumber back here or anything, so probably just left it off. But I'm going to take the one off the Mark III and put it on. So there. That is not going to, and I realized the tabs for the seat are actually welded to this Sissy bar, so you know what? If I could save this, the tabs are already on, because I don't really know how I'll do it on the Mark III Sissy bar. What I'm going to do is I just do a little light tapping at first with a bone hammer. So let's give it a little tap and see what happens, shall we? Let's get ourselves focused right down on in here and see if it moves at all. Okay, how can I tell? Let's see what happens here. Nothing. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to torch these tubes. I kind of knew I was going to have to. Just I had hope when that seat tube came out so easily. I thought, oh, these will be good, but not even close. The more I wrap on it, the more I'm going to wreck it. So I'll try heat. I'd rather use this original Sissy bar than the new one, just because everything is like the brackets and everything are right. So. There goes the paint, it's gone. Guess I'll be restoring this one. Alright, hit it. A little warm. That's a little warm. Not even close. Pretty much burned off all that paint for nothing. I gotta cut that sissy bar. It's junk. I had both those tubes glowing cherry red. It's not even trying. It's just not even a little tiny bit. It just says, what are you thinking, buddy? We are now part of this bike. Whee! That's too bad. I could try quenching it with cold water. Yeah, why don't I do that? Alright, last thing I'm going to try is going to quench it with some cold water. I'm going to heat them up, I'm going to pour water on them, and then that's my last try. That's it. Let's try it. Hear it? So, they're being cut off. I'm cutting them off. Oh well, I'll cut them clean, so if I need to weld them back on for any reason, I can, but, you know, I'm never gonna. That blows. Oh well. Remember, this was almost in the junkyard. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to cut that sissy bar. And there's really no sense cutting it here and twisting it because I'm not gonna be able to weld it back together even if I get these freed. So what I need these to remain. Gotta be careful, it's still hot. To remain so that I can slide the other tubes down over. I think they'll fit over. I'm not sure. I guess we'll be finding out soon. It's kind of funny because this sissy bar sits up in the air like this, and if you did lean it back against it, it's got no support. I don't know how these aren't all bent backwards because it's not attached to the seat. Like a banana seat bike would be. So I'll get these clamps loosened. It looks like there's just one on each side. What if this sissy bar doesn't come out? Oh God. Well, that wasn't so bad. I think I got a cable attached to it. There we go. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is cut these bars off. You know what? I gotta take a look. And with the chance that these will slide over top of the old tubes, so I'm going to cut these off as long as possible to maintain as much strength as possible. So I'm going to cut them right up where the curve starts. Yeah, I'm not going to enjoy doing this, but so I think I'll just make it so the top of the tool is just below the curve and just start turning it. I think I'll just take it off there. I'm not really sure if I'm through or not. There. Through soon. I think that's it. There we go. That one's through. There we go. Well, there she goes. That's pretty heavy duty metal. Now for the real test. I might as well take this pad off first. It works. That's clever. And off she goes. Just a plastic thing. Pitch it. Garbage. Alright, it's not garbage, but... Alright. What can we do with this now? Oh, see, much thinner tubing on the new one, and maybe. Okay, well, my battery went dead in the camera, and I don't know when. I'm not sure if you saw any of this going on. They're just taking that swelling, that taper off at the top after using the cutting tool. But before I do anything else, I just want to clean out the end of these Mark III sissy bar tubes, just in case when they saw these off or cut them off, however they do it, it pinches them in or like leaves a burr. So if I just deburr it, maybe these will fit on. These are really really cheap thin tubes. I mean, they're just not any good. So I think these will swell out and wrap themselves around these good solid old bars just fine if I hammer it down on there. Now, no, I don't know. Okay, let's just try one here. Probably not. I mean, dimensions, math is math, and I was hoping that would slide down on in there. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is, you know, do some. I'll try doing a little grinding on this, on the original Mark II tubes. I'd really rather not split these and then drive them on and like reclamp them and stuff. I'll try first just grinding a little bit off these tubes, and then maybe if I can get it down a little bit, just wail on it and they're never coming off again. It'll go down as far as possible and that's it. Oh, I got no power. Okay. Annie sees no more rust. All right, we're going to start wailing on this with my bone hammer. Okay, we're ready to try this. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to knock it back off again if it doesn't work. I think it's going. It's not real happily. It's going. I might not be running it right to the bottom though. I mean, it's pretty solid. It's already on there, probably far enough. I mean, I'd love to have a nice big high sissy bar like that. And then as far as mounting the seat, I think what I'm going to have to do is use the original tabs. They're welded in place, so I'm going to have to run some verticals up to the seat. So if the seat's going to be up here, I want the rack right at the seat. I'll just worry about that when I get to it. There. Now you won't be able to tell that there's two different sissy bars on this bike because the seam is covered up by the spring. Alright, what am I doing next? Oh, this is going to work out nice. I'll be able to attach that. It's not bad. I'll figure something out here. Hey, that's where it's staying. Alright. This is what's going to happen to this bike. Oops. Okay, I didn't put anti-seize on the post because it's not even close to being rusty in there. And I am taking this all apart again because I've decided I am going to strip it down and paint it, since I've taken half the paint off anyways now. So it's coming back apart again in not the too distant future. That might be a little too high. Oh no, it's perfect. Hell yeah. So now, how to attach the back, I don't even really know. So what do I got for mounting holes? Well, I got the one right into the taillight. What if I take this reflector off? What will I have? Yeah, I'll be able to put a screw right into this metal plate of the Mark II seat plate. Oh, some studious Chinese factory worker worked so hard at putting this thing together, and then I just come along and take it all apart. I feel terrible. Not really. No rocket science here, just drill it. Make sure the seat's kind of level, I suppose. I can always adjust that if I need to. Self-tapping screw in place. Seat's actually secure right now. I just wouldn't want to hit any big bumps with just that little screw in the back. See? But I can sit on it now. I can sit on it and see how it feels. Oh yeah, I could ride that. Next will be the uprights. I need a bigger shop. This 3.5 car garage is just totally not big enough. Yeah, man, we're getting to what I like on my chopper. A nice tall seat. Not much I can do with the handlebars. And I actually had the two bikes side by side, the Mark III and the Mark II, and the handlebars are the same height, so there's no sense pulling the bars and everything off the Mark III, or even trying. I don't know if I can. I don't even know it's possible, but I'm not going to bother trying. Okay, maybe I'll pop off that front tire like now. Maybe. It's not super heavy duty, but I think it'll work. Yes, I've decided it'll work. Okay. Should do. Tape measure out of there. Oh, this is pretty solid stuff. That's about the limit of this shear. Okay. So here's what I made, is a couple of struts to go from the original seat mounts up to the seat. Okay, washer there. Okay. Not bad. Shite. Lovely. So yeah, not factory original on the old seat mount, but it's gonna have to do. Alright, so here's what I've done so far. I've pulled off the rear wheel and the Sissy bar from the Mark III, and you can see now there is a little bit of rust on that one. So there, I've decided that it was it was okay to take that one apart. It's all rusted out. And of course the Mark II now has that wheel. I got to put the fender on yet, but I was really anxious to get this seat mounted, and it is now. It's possibly a little high in the back, but I can adjust that by raising the front a little bit. I left enough in the seat tube to do a little adjustment if I need to. But hey, it's on. Now, to mount the rear of the seat, you know, I would have loved to have got these original brackets way up here to the seat and mounted into the Sissy bar, but they're welded on. They welded them on to the Sissy bar. I thought they'd be clamps. I'm pretty sure CCM just used clamps, and that didn't happen. So I put on as subtle a brace as I could, just a fairly small strap of steel on both sides, of course, and also a self-tapping screw in the back that screws right into the metal plate of the seat. So it's secured, well, it's secured in several ways, so at least 2 ways. So I don't think there'll be a problem. I think I mean, I don't have the shifter and everything hooked up down there. The cables are just loose, the brakes are still hanging off of it. But there's one step done. I'm looking forward to do the rest. I gotta take a break, go have some lunch, come out, put that front tire on, put the brakes on, put the fender on, and off I go on down the road. Just the worst day in the history of Earth. But not a bad day to be out in the shop. So let's go. Alright, lunch break over. Oh boy, I don't remember this big mess. Yeah, I don't remember all that. So I guess I best get a little cleaned up before I do anything else here. Okay, so what's up next is I'm going to, I need to get that rear fender out of the Mark III. Even though it's all rusty on the inside, I'll spray that down with WD-40 and hopefully put a stop to that. It's nice and shiny on the other side. And then the Mark II fender, well, I can, when I get a chance, I can start working on all the little dents and dings and get that all straightened out and see about polishing it out. It's not too bad. I mean, it's maybe it is too bad. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it re-chromed, but there is a little bit of a difference on the two. I'm not sure about the mounting, but I know each end is a little different. Like this Mark II doesn't have too much of a ducktail on the back, whereas the Mark III has a pretty good scoop to it. So I'll put this fender out of the way so I don't step on it and destroy it. So fender, pedals I'll try now, front tire, and then the luggage rack, I got to get that off too and see about fitting that on the Mark II. So all right, next, there we go. Well, that's a problem because the two fronts are different, but I might be able to make it work anyway. I could probably spread these forks just a bit. The brake pads, I thought the brake pads were so worn out. Oh, there, it did get through. I gotta put this handful of wrenches down. Alright, so So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do is remove the little lock nuts. So the front bearing gets adjusted, and then a lock nut gets put on to hold the adjusting nut in place. I'm gonna have to remove those because I need the space. Either that, or I gotta spread these forks apart to like half an inch. But I'm determined to do it. I don't really want to spread them. Might have to spread them a little bit, but I don't want to go half an inch. So I'm gonna see what I can do about this on the vise. All right, bunch of noise, bunch of sparks, and I got one thinner 13mm wrench. That fits in there now. All right, so now you just put the other wrench. I forget which one it was. This guy? No. This one? No. This one? Yeah, close enough. All right. I say. Probably an easier way to do this. Oh, okay, I need a vise or something here. All right, that worked. Skinned my knuckles on the vise, but heck, it's just pain. All right, what am I going to do about that? Let's see if this is even a thing that I should be thinking about doing, because maybe now the bearings will be all messed up in here. Let's see, spin that guy back in, hand tight, both sides, give it a little whirl. Probably loosen it up a bit, and there we go, feels good. Alright, drop it in place. Okay. Oh, well that's something I maybe should have checked, is the threads on the new one are bigger. So I'm going to have to waller these out. I don't mind doing that. Well, that's just a thing that's going on right there. Now I am wondering if maybe I could just run the old axle through this new hub. What do they look like? Oh, they look different is what they look like. The other thing I can do is just grind a notch like a flat. If I grind a flat on the threads, then yeah, I grind and then it looks like I'm going to have to spread these forks. This time only about 1/8 of an inch, so that's good. I can handle that. So if I grind a flat, a little bit there on the inside, enough for this skinny little tab to fit onto, because that doesn't spin, of course. So yeah, do that. Probably will do. Let's give that a whirl. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, I gotta spread the forks just a bit. Ow! Don't do that! Alright, there's a little slot there that a finger can fit in, but it goes on. Hell yeah. I like that. Bingo. Alright, we'll know if that's tight enough first time I do a wheelie. Uh-oh. I think that does tighten up on the bearing. That's probably not a good thing. I'm taking another look at that. I'm not sure I like it. Maybe I'll try it with putting that custom wrench I built on the bearing cup nut when I'm tightening these bolts on. I'll try that, see if that makes a difference. So maybe now that I got those bearings set nice, I can slip this little wrench in there. Maybe I'll have to grind a little. No, it's fine. Because it might have been turning. So far so good. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's the way to do it. Yeah. I think the first time I tightened them down, they probably were allowed to roll with the whole assembly and bind up the bearing. But, you know, if you can hold that lock nut down in there and then tighten it, not a lock nut, but the, I guess the bearing cup, and then tighten it, problem solved. Alright, can I adjust the brakes? Probably. I can hold these guys together somehow, probably not really. There we go. Pull the cable, let it off a little bit, and reef it down. It's working. What else? The rear fender's got to come off this Mark III. So the best way to do that, I think, uh-oh, it's riveted on. It's not on at all at the front, but, oh no, I think there's just screws on the top. So this is easier. This one doesn't have nuts underneath it that were causing me grief before. What else while it's upside down? How about the pedals? Are they going to be the same? Oh, there it goes. Probably the Mark III is going to be heavier duty because it's into an aluminum. Well, what do you think? Woohoo! It fits. Good enough. Tight. Alright. Put this one back in this bike just so that I don't lose it. I do have a box of parts for the 72 or for the Mark II. So there's a little more thread on the Mark III. So when it gets to a certain point, it just tightens up, even though there's still some thread showing. Oh well. Alright, let's see what I can do about this one. So is this one the one that's going to loosen off the opposite way? Probably. The non-sprocket side go that way, so if I grab that, oh boy, no, I gotta go through here. Like something like that. Should have put a big pipe over this wrench and then it wouldn't have hurt my hand so much, but just pain. Just a whole bunch of pain. Alright, that pedal's out. And yeah, it's... if there's actually ball bearings in there, I'd be shocked. Okay. Okay. That's good. It's in about the same as the other one, so that's good. It just doesn't come all the way through, but it's tight, so. Well, I guess we're into the fender next. Totally forgot to bolt that on. Virtually nothing on the threads here because these forks are way wider. Does this fit in there? Yes, it will. Okay, so I'll just run some nuts on this thread rod here and reef them together. Oh, it's close. It's ever so close. Maybe I can pinch that by hand now. Voila, that wasn't so bad. Uh-oh, this one's not nice. Got it. So, it's just going to fit. So the two Fenders, you can see the difference between a Mark II and a Mark III. They're not, I can't see. They're not too far different, except you're going to see the mounting tab on the Mark III is a cutout, and it's not on the Mark II. On the other end, the Mark III has a little bit more of a dip to it, and the Mark II does not. And in this case, the Mark III is shiny, and the Mark II is not. Oops. Oh, I wonder if these brakes have to go on first. Alright. That camera died. I don't know when. So I'm not sure if we were filming the old putting the fender on routine or not, but that's what I'm doing. So I've got the front screw in the fender, and I just went and got a couple of nuts and bolts for the back one. Snug. Snug, and that one's snug. I'm pretty sure I tightened that guy up, but maybe not. No, I had forgotten to. Done! Woohoo! It's working. Alright. The cable. Okay. In third gear, so I just want that snug. There's probably going to be a little adjusting here yet. Okay, so that's third gear loose. Let's try second gear. I'm not sure if you can see where my hand is. Yeah, I guess you can on the shifter. Second gear, pedal. Well, that's a thing. Okay, stop in first gear. Made a different sound. Pedal. Well, I think that's a good thing. Oh, yeah, second makes a different sound. Third doesn't, but it's got to be third because it's loose there. No, not loose. It's just snug a little bit. I don't know if that's how you do it. Oh, I know, you're supposed to look down in this eye hole, but that ain't accurate because this is all different. So we're not going to adjust it that way. I'm going to adjust it by feel to start with. Tighten down that little thumb screw. I'm going to assume, let's try first. Okay, that's really easy. And there's no clicking. I don't know if that makes any difference. Okay, let's try second. Paddle. A little harder, and there's clicking. Stop. Third. Really hard. Clicking. So I'll know if second and third are the same out on the road, then I know I don't have it adjusted well, but hey, let's put a little zip tie on that, and it's done. Yeah, that's not so bad. I'm trying to get this rack off the back, because I might be able to incorporate that on the Mark II like they had. It's a little bit sad that this bike will probably never go back together again. Not to the pristine state I had it, but remember, I'm keeping one pristine. One's not going to be ridden. Oh, there we go. That's out. Put these guys back in a little bit so we don't lose them. Oh, you know what? I was going to switch over front fenders, wasn't I? Can I? Are they the same? This one's on backwards. No, they're not the same.
So it looks like I'm not switching them around. I think for now I'm just going to leave it alone, not get into something I'll regret, like all the other things I've been getting into. But let's flip this back over. That looks better. Kickstand is perfect. I think I'll screw down this shifter now. Snug. Yep, shifter's still working. So why don't I put my cover on? This is aftermarket, this bit. I wouldn't even mess with trying to get an original one, not for this project. And I'm kind of big on the whole, well, it's a Restomod, so I'm big on aftermarket parts for these things because it saves bikes from being torn apart for their parts. When you can just get an aftermarket part, then you're not so desperate to tear up a good bike. I'm gonna have to find a little tab, metal or something, to use as a bracket. Well, that didn't take long. I already found something. And that looks like it might just work underneath there. Let's see. The screw head's the right size. Up in the front. That's good. Oh shoot, it won't stay in first. I'm just going to have to do something different. Oh, so close. I'm flipping it over. I can't see what I'm doing. It's going upside down. Alright, I'm out. So you'll see that plate on the front that's all crooked. That's a little bracket I found that I was trying to use. I can't slide it back anymore because this is in the way. So maybe if I got it up over top of that one, and the screw's still long enough. Oh, I dropped it at least once. Okay, in the hole she goes. Now I can adjust that back and all will be well. There we go. That's better. Right on. So, one more thing. Luggage rack, you know, for when I'm hauling raw materials. So, wait a minute. So yeah, it was supposed to go on like way down here, right? Which can't happen now because right. It's supposed to go on and, oh, wait a minute, no, up over the fender though. Like that. Oh, yeah, it was supposed to go on like that. Get this guy on and then drop down in there. Brakes are definitely in the way. Woohoo! Okay, I see why you guys that do bikes a lot have all the right tools and tables and clamps and different things that you can rotate the bike around. Cool! Woohoo! Okay, that's pretty tight. It has the rack on it. Is it flat, straight, centered? Hell yeah. The math looks right. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I think I got a rideable bike now. So far so good. I think I'm in first. Should be. Woohoo! Ha! Oh, it's perfect. This ride's great. Second gear. Oh, for sure. Back to first. Yep. All right, 1976 Raleigh Chopper. Restomod. Oh, it looks kind of cool on the leaves like that, eh? It's the same color as the leaves. There she goes. All right. It's a cruddy day, but I'm going to go for a little rip up the driveway here. Let's roll. Yeehaw. All right. Let's move this rig. Hey, the brakes still suck. I'm exhausted. So, just the smallest of adjustments required on the shifter back on the Sturmy. It's very close. If I, fiddle with it, it'll go 1, 2, and 3, but it's trying to just stay in second. So, I think just gotta loosen that off a little bit. Anyways, that's it for today. I got it running. Oops. All right, well, I hope you're digging this as much as I am, because it's kind of cool to build up an old beast, even if it's not original parts. At least I created something out of nothing. Like the duck says, be tough and get her done. All right, so what's Mark III on this? Front wheel. Front wheel and tires, Mark III. What else? Sissy bar is Mark III. And the luggage rack is Mark III. What else? Well, how about the entire rear wheel, hub, and pedals. Oh, and let's not forget that fender. That's Mark III as well. I think it looks pretty cool under there. Pretty nice. I would have liked to have swapped over that front fender, but I'm just not quite sure about it. And there's really nothing wrong with my front fender. There's no dings in it, so it's okay. What's going on up there? Oh. but he's just peeling out on the wet road. So it can be done. It's going to take a little bit of perseverance, but yeah, you can put some parts on a Mark III onto a Mark II and make it functional. So it'd be nice when I can get around to finding, I want to get proper pedals or fix my pedals. I'll probably just fix my pedals because these look really, really bad on a vintage bike. But this hub and this tire work perfectly. I need, you know what? I'll make up knobs for the shifter, or I'll just break them and buy them off of eBay, because it would really seal the deal. I really don't care if I have the indicator linkage in there. I don't. It's not like I don't know what gear I'm in. It would be ideal to have that, but don't need it. Keeping the original bars on it. Turns out they're high enough to ride anyways. I thought they were going to be way too low and puny, but it's kind of funny when you see when you see how I sat on this thing when I originally got that hub working, how crunched up I was. Now, not crunched at all. Quite comfortable actually. I'm not even going to bother messing with the seat. I thought I might have to raise it up a bit to get that level, but it's plenty level enough. And I love the Sissy bar being extra higher anyways. I know they came a lot higher than that even, but it's a good looking bike now. Let's just take another look at that. There it is. We'll call it a Mark 2.75. It's mostly Mark II with a bunch of Mark III. Well, you purists are going to, let's just tilt this up for a second and have a little chat. Okay, you purists are not going to particularly care for this kind of idea, this Restomod idea I had. But think of it this way, I'm in Canada, and the bikes that were common to us in Canada were CCMs, okay, Mustangs, some Marauders, but mostly just Mustangs, cheaper bikes. In the States, to the south of us, it was all Schwinn. Okay, the crates and Stingrays, it was all Schwinn. And then in England, it was all choppers. There really aren't that many choppers in Canada. They exist, but they weren't in the millions like they were in England. So, gathering up these parts at flea markets and stuff, it's just not really doable. So there's an option right there, for $100 I got a really good Mark III, and you can get your Mark II running, even though it was a basket case. We don't have chopper clubs here in Ontario. We have vintage bicycle clubs because there's just not enough choppers to make up a group, I don't think, anyway. So I got one Mustang, and now I got one old chopper, and of course I got two really nice Mark IIIs, and then a half a Mark III, which will now just be parts for the other Mark IIIs. And that should be it for me for the rest of my life. I'm good on choppers now. I'm not buying any more unless I find a really nice like Mark I or Mark II again. But this is going to be my rider. It rides fine, no issues. I just got to work on the brakes. I'm going to get new brake cables is what I'm going to get, and probably new pads. I never even put the pads back on the back, but it's seized up anyway, so that's not a problem. There you go. So from Ontario, cheers folks. Keep turning them wrenches. I don't want to clean up this mess. God damn.